Christians of all denominations across the world share the profound belief that God's presence through Jesus is a defining act of love and charity that brings redemption to a world of suffering. Christians throughout the ages have dedicated themselves to acts of loving kindness and charity, and like Jesus himself, have gone above and beyond to heal the sick and tend to those in need. One important way this was expressed is in the development of disease prevention strategies such as vaccination. The notion that we can prevent disease and reduce suffering, that we can eliminate sickness and maintain health, is a deeply redemptive idea. The earliest vaccine scientists were people of deep faith who felt it was their duty to study nature and harness the rich complexity of God's creation, as seen in the human immune system, to be able to prevent disease and death. Even today, vaccine development is led by Christians of professed faith in Jesus, such as Dr. Francis Collins, the former director of the National Institutes of Health in the U.S. Some vaccines, for example the J&J COVID-19 vaccine, use cell lines as part of the research and manufacturing process in vaccine development. These cell lines derive from an elective abortion that occurred in Sweden 50 years ago and have been propagated in laboratories in the intervening decades. No recently derived cells are part of this process, and there are no cells in the vaccines themselves. The Catholic Church has deemed that it is morally acceptable to receive such vaccines given their life-saving potential, and that receiving such vaccines does not condone or support the derivation of these cells or abortion in any way. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines do not contain fetal cells. Fetal cell lines were used during research of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, but they were not used in making the vaccines. The Novavax vaccine does not contain any fetal cells, and fetal cells were not used during any of the research for this vaccine. This gives you a choice. If you have issues about fetal cell lines being used for developing the vaccine, choose the Novavax vaccines. Indeed, today when vaccines are available but unevenly distributed around the world, it is a Christian message of justice and righteousness that argues for equitable distribution and fair access to life-saving vaccines. It is the Christian moral message of caring for the most vulnerable that argues for vaccination among healthy people in order to protect those who are very young, pregnant, or immune deficient. Many churches around the world have actively promoted and engaged in vaccine delivery, including by providing vaccination outreach sites to people of all faiths. Many Christian synods and councils across Christianity's denominations consider Christians as having a moral duty to be vaccinated, to protect their own health, and just as important, to help protect others.